should be live any moment now. Starting a little bit early. Alright, sweet. Everything went through, and now I'm going to check how this sounds. Alright, yeah, sounds good. Perfect. Okay, let me get my own music going now. Oops, sorry. Hit the mic. Alright, sweet. Hope you guys are all doing well. Today is kind of weird. I have this axolotl here, but that's actually not what I'm making today. It just happens to be like a decent starting shape for what I'm making today. Alright. So, what I'm actually making today is this. I'll be making a dire pangolin, which is really odd. It was a request from someone who is like a really, really good painter. And at first I was like, I don't know why you'd ask for this. And the longer I'm looking at it, the more I'm like, this is cool. This is really cool. So I'm excited to make this. Let's get started. So the reason that I picked my axolotl is because the number one thing that I didn't really want to make on this was the flat portion of the tail. Because sometimes it can be hard to make things like look thin but not be too thin to where it's a problem with 3D printing. So I figured this would be a really good starting point actually. Yeah, and they don't have ears or anything. Or not like, you know, pronounced ones. Maniacs here, hello. So yeah, we're going to just start working on this. I'm going to dynamesh this at a super low resolution. Because again, I'm just using this as a base. A very funny base. Gonna lower the resolution. There we go. Okay, just create this base shape. I'm gonna go for more of a brown sandy color. A little bit darker. There we go. Alright, let's start working on this. It says sound is double. My exasperations, because like I always test this like 1,000 times before I actually do it. Alright, what's the deal here? Yep. Alright, now I'm going to try and listen to what you're listening for. The sound is not double. I don't know what you're talking about. I hear me, and then there's music in the background. And I'm listening to the same thing you are. If you can explain more what this sound issue is, let me know and I'll fix it. But I don't think there is a sound issue, actually. Yeah, no, there's no issue there. Yeah, there's a delay. I hear your voice, a few seconds. I hear a repeat of what you just said. See, that's really weird though, because that doesn't make any sense. Here. If there's anyone else listening to this, I would love your feedback, because I'm listening to the exact live stream, just streaming back to me. And, no, there just isn't anything though. I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, so it was on Maniac's end. That's what I thought. It's okay. I'm like, I can't fix this. Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad it wasn't on my side. And now you know in the future to check your side first. All right, back to work. So right now I'm just going to be creating the base shape of this creature. It looks so funny right now. It's kind of cute though. I didn't think about that. I can just do see-through for this too. I got it pretty close, but this will save me some time. Alright, I think that looks pretty decent, and the rest of it will just be me getting the work done. Let's see. Let me go see through. want to see where the eye placement's supposed to be. So I'll go ahead and zoom this out, line it up, and then do it like a little mark. I mean, this guy has 4 eyes, actually, I just realized, but I think I'm just going to give him a normal amount of eyes. Alright, we'll mark where that is going to be. Maniac says, do you work with perspective inside ZBrush? Yes. And then dimensions change much from screen to print? No. I turn perspective on and off depending on like if I want to have the feet flat, but if not, you really should be working in perspective, especially if you're working on human faces. Human faces look ridiculous in orthogonal projection like mode, which is with that perspective. And then do I leave perspective at default? I actually don't know. I think I changed it a little bit just so it looks right. Not too far off from default. Someone new here? Hello, Jack. And what are you making? I am making a dire pangolin, which is this dude in the background here. won't look exactly the same, but same general creature. But yeah, I can see why you have no idea if I'm zoomed in that much. So zooming out helps a little bit. So he has one really beefy back leg, and that's it so far. I was thinking a little bit too claw-like with this toe, so smoothing it back to be more of like a wedge shape. I'm so used to just doing claws on the feet that this will be good practice for me. That looks pretty decent. Looks like there are two smaller toes on the outside and then one big toe in the middle. I'm not sure what an actual pangolin's feet look like. I'm just looking at this reference, which I think looks pretty cool. And then Jack said an anteater. They are not the same thing, actually. So look up pangolin and then look up anteater. They're different animals. Jeff says she's so fast on shaping it. Oh, thanks. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna just Google it right now for you guys, because I feel like a lot of people don't know pangolins are different animals, which is sad because like they're almost going extinct. So don't mind me. I'm just gonna go all like animal conservationist on you guys. But yeah, these are anteaters. They're super freaking cute and they are fuzzy. And then they have pangolins, which are pretty much the non-fuzzy baby version of this. They're all I mean, they look like they're fake, right? I mean, they look so freaking cool. But look at their little face. They're very cool. So that's why this guy's gonna have like these big ol' super cool spikes on his back and stuff, because pangolin. But honestly, it does look like an armored anteater. You were not wrong. And then Jeff says, duplication of the toe you just did. Is that a full version thing? I don't know. If I can't remember, so you're Jeff Oodle. Okay, I'm not gonna pull up the mentorship tier because it has lots of people's emails on it. I can't remember what software you use. I think you use ZBrush Mini. Pretty sure you're not using Core. Anyway, if you're using Core, yes. If you're using Mini, I don't think so, because you can't have multiple objects in Mini. But yeah. Let's see. Maniac says, what about the tongue? Will it print? There is not going to be a tongue. I'm not going to fuck with that. Jess says that thing's pretty awesome. Didn't know about them either. Right? Isn't that... They're weird little dudes. And yes, Jeff does use Mini. Yep. So no, you cannot duplicate this. This is the full version thing. I suspect a lot of people that are using Mini will probably end up upgrading at some point. I know it's expensive. Well, I always try not to say ZBrush is expensive. That's kind of a pet peeve of mine, because like just because it has this high price tag doesn't mean it's expensive. To me, expensive things aren't worth it, and ZBrush is worth it. There's a software called Maya that I encourage you guys to look at. It is over $1,000 a year, which is crazy. It does a lot of different things in ZBrush, but as far as sculpting goes, ZBrush is the industry standard. It is the way. Why is it creating two? Oh, I see. I see. Same like this masking I'm doing, that's also not in ZBrush Mini. But I still really encourage and like ZBrush Mini because it's a really good way to actually have fun really quickly and early on. I did not have fun modeling for a while because it's really, really, really hard. ZBrush especially is like punishing for beginners because the UI is just brutal. Obviously, once you know it, it's fantastic. Okay, what just happened? Oh, it's not using the right brush. That's why. There we go. This will fix it. Bam. Anyway, as I was saying, you can customize the UI in ZBrush, and everyone does, to whatever their specific like needs are and stuff. But until you know what you need, it can be really, really frustrating. But in the meantime, you can get a lot of really cool stuff done in ZBrush Mini, so I wouldn't worry too much. Alright, I have these two toes, and these ones I don't want. There we go. They look really funny. Alright, I'm gonna make these toes a darker color. Also going to merge them down. I grab move and then back face mask and then make that a flat plane there. Yeah, re-dynamesh this as well. This is slightly higher resolution. There we go. Just because the bottom of the feet are hollow for some reason, which means I must have stretched the mesh and not noticed. That's okay. All I have to do is mask it, pull that down, and it will be fixed. There we go. Boop. Doesn't look pretty, but just early concept stuff. There we go. All right, now that I have those toes based in there, I can go through and actually, what is this piece? What is this? There. I can actually build the skin over the toenail. I've noticed that always looks best. Let's see. And then Wolf says, Zebra subscription service is super awesome though, right? Especially if we're trying it out, turns into a belong thing, you can buy it later. Exactly. I'm glad you brought that up. I always forget there's a subscription version because when I got it, that wasn't even an option, which I mean, obviously it didn't matter, and now I would have bought the full version anyway. Or not the full version, but just the one-time price tag. I really want to make sure the bottom of this is flat, even though it's not like anatomically correct. Hey, you're back already.
I'm back.
That was fast.
Yeah, the guy was actually really quick.
Sweet. So how's it sound?
Better than what we tested.
All right.
Because he didn't want to go as far back as I had it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So he kept the resonator on there, and with the turn down, oh man, like it's not, it's quieter than what we heard earlier.
All right.
It's a little quieter, and it just sounds so deep and rumbly, and definitely not going to have any back pressure issues.
Fantastic. We got our we removed the, oh my god, what is it called? Muffler on our truck. I kept the muzzler, and I'm like, that's not a thing on a truck. Muzzler. I've just been working on ugly pangolin feet. I've been working very slow today, probably because I haven't modeled in a few days.
Yeah, you're out of the mojo. You're still winding down.
I am still winding down. But it kind of looks fancy. Kind of looks like I know what I'm doing.
Dinosaur.
Pretty much.
This is dinosaurs.
Feet look all lumpy and weird. The toes look a little weird, but...
They only look weird because they're the only thing that has muscle detail.
Shut up. Alright, I actually want this toe moved much further back. I knew I was going to have, not like problems, but these feet were going to take longer because I'm just so used to doing like standard claws, and these are like wedge shaped. It's weird. There we go. I know these are supposed to be moved farther back. I can't believe how fast that was though. Are you making coffee?
Yes.
Yay.
I was the first comment on your live stream.
I know. I acknowledged you.
Oh, did you?
I did. I sent little hearts. You're my person.
I sent it like 20 minutes before.
I know. I definitely merged these little claws way too early. That's okay. I'm not too worried about working super efficient. I got the last of the aquatic Kickstarter done so fast. I just want to work slow. And this is so peaceful. That's all. You know what? I'll live stream this. This is good vibes. Like most of the time that I live stream, I like work at 1,000 miles an hour, which is like fine, but I don't know. This is a chill time.
You're finally working at a speed where people can follow along.
Yeah, I hope so anyway. I'm sure people that normally watch the live stream, though, will come back and be like, how is she still working on the feet? I'm like, because I'm slow. Why aren't you dynameshing? There we go. Alright, there's not a ton more I can do with these feet without adding resolution. And they're starting to look really weird because the clay, or whatever you want to call it, is getting overworked. There we go. I'm like, come on, why aren't you working? There we go. That's better. There, little wedgie feet. Looks so silly. I should save this. Okay. I'm just gonna get a sync. Here. I don't even have a folder for this month yet because I haven't started this month. June Pat. There we go. Where are you going, ZBrush? There we go. Let's see. Maniac asks, how long did it take for Patreon to become sustainable? Like just Patreon? Okay, a better way to answer this question is never. Never rely on one stream of income. I have 7 different streams of income, 3 of those being significant. So Patreon never became sustainable. By itself, Patreon became sustainable last month, quite frankly. But everything combined, nah, we've been doing fine for over a year.
Yeah.
But just Patreon alone, this month.
1 year.
Yeah.
Solid year.
But that doesn't count because it wasn't just Patreon. It was Kickstarter, Etsy, commissions, Amazon affiliates, now YouTube. What else do we do?
Did you say Etsy already?
I think so. There's 7. I just know there's 7. Our biggest money makers being Patreon and Kickstarter. But the website actually makes a lot too.
Website, Amazon?
Amazon's like $100 a month.
Still?
But hey, it's $100. But yeah, I'm having fun with this because like a lot of people in the live stream right now are part of the mentor tier too, which is cool because I recognize them and I'm like, hey, I know you. Ricky knows I've been super excited about the mentor tier and stuff. And obviously, I like talking to anyone during the live streams, but it's always cool when I'm like, oh, hey, I actually recognize your name. And every now and again, I have someone who has like a different name on Patreon, Discord, YouTube, and I'm like, can you just pick one so I know who you are? Because I'll feel bad. I'll act like treat them like a stranger, and they'll be like, you know, I am also this person. I'm like, oh, right. All right, so the shoulder blade's gonna be like here. Yeah. Yeah, this thing's gonna be a unit. I don't know what this muscle looks like on this animal, but I don't think I care enough to look it up. It'll look fine. I know the basics. I'm just gonna give him like human biceps and it's gonna be fine. Don't laugh at me. But no, speaking of the mentor tier, I had a lot of people that upgraded from the $10, which is just like my Learn 3 model program without my mentoring, upgrade. And I'm like, that makes sense because they know how I teach and stuff. But I actually had a lot of people that just jumped in cold turkey, and I was like so flattered. I'm like, I just appreciate that you guys trust me to like teach you and care. But no, it's been a ton of fun. I don't know how many students I have yet, but I know it's like over 30. At some point, as you guys keep working on stuff, I want to make like one big collage of all the stuff you guys made. It's gonna be fun. Obviously, I'll wait because most of you guys are super shy and don't want to share any of your stuff yet. Just understandable. I'd be the same way. All right, I don't know how many claws they have. This guy has like 2, so I'll do that. I'm trying to figure out how we connect multiple claws to this. I think having the multiple objects will definitely look best, but it's still just kind of weird. Yeah, I don't want to do that right now, so I'm not going to. You made me a snack tray.
Yes.
You're the best. I thought you were making cereal. I'm like, wow, he's making a lot of noise. Thank you.
Just taking care of you.
Yeah, I'm really easy. I'm like a toddler. There's like Reese's, raisins, applesauce, Cheez-Its, and goldfish. That's what I live on. That and like a lot of salmon. We eat a lot of salmon. I always forget how many like mundane like details of my life that I share. And then like in the Discord, people will mention like, I don't know, they'll be talking about like salmon. Like, oh, I know Mia likes that. And I'm like, how do you know that?
Did you tell him the Cheez-It story? The guy created it?
Yeah, so there's a YouTube video. We have several, but one of them we're assembling the photon or something. And there were Cheez-Its in the picture, and I actually mentioned it. And I'm like, yeah, I like live off of these. And I did kind of almost like a meet and greet. I used to do lessons in person as well. And yeah, one of the guys showed up with a box of Cheez-Its because he knew that I liked them. And they were sealed and stuff. I like checked. I was all weird. I mean, not to him, but I just wanted to double check. But it was like the coolest freaking thing. I was like, I got presents from like a stranger. So freaking cool.
Alrighty, I'm gonna head out.
Oh yeah, you're not even hanging out with me. That's right.
Coffee's brewing.
Sweet.
It'll be done here pretty soon.
Wait, look how disturbing this looks first.
Yes, of course.
Because now I just have a muscly arm and a muscly leg. Do you hate it?
I hate it so much.
Ah.
Reminds me of that episode of SpongeBob where they start making, like someone buys the Krusty Krab and they start making the Krabby Patties out of like that paste. It
Yeah.
reminds me of that paste.
Great. We're 23. We reference SpongeBob more than we should. We're not going to talk about that. Drops controversial comment, leaves. Thanks, Ricky. I don't know if anyone could hear what you said, so it's fine.
Alrighty. I think with me.
I will. Yeah, Jeff mentioned dude is ripped, right? I mostly do this just to block out all the muscle forms, and then I'll go over and actually smooth a lot of this out, and that's kind of like adding like this skin over it, if that kind of makes sense. I notice if I don't block out like all the muscles and stuff, they end up looking really lumpy in a bad way. And just like undefined in general. Because if I take this and go over with my smooth brush, like see how nice that looks? He doesn't look as disturbingly ripped either. But that'll be for later. I still want to make sure that I have everything I want. Also, I just like drawing muscles and making things look, I don't know. This like messy sort of texturing is like my favorite. So I'm giving him more of a belly, but in my reference, he has more of like a really distinct rib cage, and then it kind of cuts up. That might look better, but I kind of like this little pooch just because my problem with the reference right here. Oh wow, my reference is gone. Where is it? My problem with this reference is that even though it looks really cool, it looks totally unbalanced. Like, I don't know how he is not just falling forward. You know what I mean? Like, this leg should be brought significantly farther forward. So instead of having this line right here, I think I'm just going to have this be like a fatter belly like this. He still looks like he's falling forward, but just not as much. I mean, when I pose this, it'll really help. I want this to look really strong and like it can actually carry his weight. Coffee maker sounds ridiculous right now. Anyway. Hey, Terry's here. What up? Can't say, just came to see what you're working on. Very cool. Thank you. And then Jeff mentioned that looks good. Yeah, like smoothing out's gonna look a lot nicer. I just love this really sloppy looking look, and at the end it all comes together. See, right here are these like weird gaps and stuff between the limbs. I was gonna go with an inflate brush and then like cover it so it makes sense, but this will actually make it easier for when I want to pose because I can grab that crease right there and not worry about stretching the entire mesh. But believe me, I see it and I want to fix it too. Alright, I want to build a really strong top line as well, because that's where all of his little spikies will be coming out. I don't know what to do with this area. This is just going to be skin. Alright. All these wrinkles, we have more fat right here. I want to say he's almost like more of a, I mean, it is a desert animal, but I'm imagining a lot of this weight and fat being kind of like camels. It's how they store water. It's like, yes, this is a real creature, but I'm also just putting my own lore and like logic onto it because I'm like, I'm making you D&D, like, I don't know, useful. I don't know what to do with this weird little mouth. Like, I'm so used to like taking my damn standard brush and going through here and like creasing the mouth. That's not how their mouth is. It's just like a little bloop. Like, I don't know. It's just a little hole. It's so weird. I hope the guy that asked for this doesn't mind, but I'm not going to give this thing a tongue. It's going to be way too fragile and it's just not happening. I mean, I could like fold it on itself almost like a butterfly, but eh. Then it looked too graceful, I think. I think I put the eyes too far into his head, but I also think his head's a little too flat. It should be more tube-like anyway. There we go. Yeah, before, after. Eyes look dumb, but overall this looks better. So actually the eyes weren't far enough into his head. He looks so angry. It's so cute. I'm just building up a brow and kind of just like how this like eye socket is shaped. Normally I look at the skull of the animal, but in this case especially, I'm like, I don't know how many pangolins I'm going to make. If this isn't perfectly anatomically correct, I'm actually okay with that, as long as it looks nice. I think it's time to finally do the front claws. Oh, I think someone's new here. I don't know if I've ever seen him before. I think it's Kafaros. I'll just call you Design. Jack says, I feel like what you're saying, but it feels like skipping the tongue, you're missing something. I'm not doing it. I don't know if you 3D print or not, but no, I'm just not doing it. All right, let's do capsule. Excuse me, it's something in my throat. All right. All right, I'm gonna turn perspective off on this and then do a little clip. Maybe a little bit higher. Here we go, because I don't want the overlap of this claw. I want it to fit instead. There we go, that looks better. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do just 2 large claws. So one on the inside and then a smaller one that points on the outside. And then this one, I definitely want to point up a little bit more. I think that looks pretty good. I'm not totally sure how all of this will overlap. Actually works out pretty good. I think his little forearm is like way too small, so I'll need to fix that. Also, this bend shouldn't be quite that dramatic. Look at his little nubs. I'll figure something out. I'll probably just get a reference of a pangolin from the front. That looks much, much better having the claws there. Jack says, yeah, I do. So I know what you're saying, but I still get the itchy feeling. I know how to put my words in my native tongue, but damn it. No, I get what you're saying. You're saying it's going to be taking away from like something that's like identifiable for that creature and like the pizzazz of it. I'm just saying it's a huge pain in the ass. It's not worth it. Design says, in your opinion, when is the best time to change mesh from Dynamesh to ZRemesh? Mesh? So it really just depends what you're making. It's a really hard question to answer because that's not really like a question that I can answer. It depends what you're making. So like this, you just Dynamesh the entire way through, and then for me, I can probably just Dynamesh one more time, project details back on, and be fine. But if this is a really complicated pose, then I will ZRemesh, put reproject details back on, and then use that to pose. So yeah, just use Dynamesh. ZRemesh to shape a model in the beginning is really just not efficient because you're gonna be really limited to how much you can stretch the polygons without them getting really like warped and deformed looking. Not sure. Let's see. The neck needs to be longer for sure. But I don't know what kind of texture to add to that. Oh, I should probably merge the eye down if I'm going to move the head. There we go. It looks really, really weird, but once it has all the scales and stuff, I think it's going to look better. So I see that like the cheekbone on these is actually pretty pronounced. But I don't get how this bone structure fits in this tiny little head. There's like a cheekbone here and it comes down. So that would be cut out right here. I mean, it does look slightly better. I think the head's just gonna look funny. And I'll just leave it like that. Obviously not entirely detailless, but more or less. Yeah, I actually have a matte cap on this I generally never use. I think that was probably a misclick on my part. Ooh, now it looks really weirdly flesh tone. I don't like that. The toenails look okay, but I definitely need to change the color of this mesh. I don't know if I can get a nice brown with a specific matte cap, so I might go back to what I had. Yeah, it just looks like flesh in like a really uncomfortable way. It should look more dusty. I had that same problem with the Exotle that I started this with, and that's why I had this matte cap on here already. Just make the top line a little bit darker and start putting this together. Just a funny looking creature. It really needs all of its little like scales and stuff like that. Manic says, is a good idea to split a model for posing later, like have different subtools for arms, legs. Yeah, you can totally do it like that. I recommend it. Just it's a little easier to adjust things. And then I don't know if you know about Transpose Master, but if you go to Z plugin, Transpose Master, and click T Pose Mesh, it's going to take all the subtools and merge them into one, and you can like move them around as a whole. And it's great because if you go back to it and go T Pose Sub T, it'll put all your subtools back, and then you can adjust things and really fine tune things. So yeah, I definitely recommend not merging everything down until like you're going to prepare for 3D printing pretty much. All right, I'm going to get some coffee and enjoy some snacks. A lot of really good questions today, guys. Definitely keep them coming. All right, just gonna put my little sign up. That way if anyone joins in and they're just like, what? What is this? Where is she? Wow, this is not a great render to leave this on. It's fine. I'll be right back. And I'm back. Just a really short break. All right, and now I have coffee, which is awesome. All right. So at this point, I'm going to start making the scales that are on his back. So I'm going to put this in symmetry. Not the symmetry that I wanted. There we go. And then go ahead and squish this. Just making this into like a tile, pretty much. Maniac says tips on fur/scales. Those are super different. Pick one and I'll talk about one. Let's see. I mean, you might as well ask about fur, I guess, because I'm doing scales right now. Or these more like armor plates. I don't know. Everything's so different. Everything is so case by case, it feels like, with ZBrush. Or just sculpting in general. Never used this brush before, and it's definitely not behaving the way I thought it would. Let's see what it does with Lazy Mouse. That's better. Much better. And then design asks, how long have you been using ZBrush? I've been using ZBrush since August 2018. Well, that was ZBrush Core. The full version of ZBrush since like February 2019, last year. Trim Adaptive is one of my favorite brushes. It's just really, really hard to use. But if you're ever making a scale like this and you don't want to look so perfect, just take this around the edges and it really, really adds a lot. And then Design asks, how much time did you spend learning basics? What do you consider basics? Sorry, I'm not sure. It's just because like the UI and like brushes and stuff, or just like the UI. I didn't learn like traditionally from a teacher or anything. I just started making stuff. Like I just made a model every day for like 3 months pretty much. So I didn't really like just try to worry about like brushes, or I didn't break it down for myself at all. I just went head in. It wasn't very efficient and it was super frustrating, but that's how I did it. I'm not sure what basics are. To me, like basics would be like just navigation and brushes, but I was making stuff, and trying to make characters and stuff. They weren't good, but yeah, I just jumped right in. But if you have like specific stuff, like, oh, when did you learn Dynamesh, ZRemesh, that kind of stuff, I can answer that. Sorry, I feel like that wasn't very helpful. I feel like it's a subjective question. I want to make sure I really answer what you asked. All right, I spent way more time on the scale than I needed to, but I had fun with it. Go ahead and pre-process this because I don't want to deal with almost 1,000,000 polygons when I'm duplicating this everywhere. Here we go. Oh, good. Design said it's a helpful answer. Thank you. Okay, I'm glad. But feel free to ask it like a different version of it. I don't mind. Because there's been a couple questions today that I feel bad that I don't have like really strict answers for, like the Dynamesh versus ZRemesh one. I'm like, it just depends. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's see if I can decimate it more and more. I don't care for the scale a ton by itself. It looks alright, but I have a feeling when they're all stacked together, it's going to look really cool. Mayak says, how can you learn about supports and how to do them? I taught myself. Just trial and error is the best thing. Everyone has their own 2 cents, and everyone's half wrong and half right. Just try it yourself. Just do it yourself. I like using Mesh Mixer. I actually have a video on my YouTube channel right now. It's literally how to use Mesh Mixer supports and how I create my custom ones. But if you don't want to do them like one by one, like how I do them, you can use G2Box, or there's a bunch of them. The Prusa slicer is really popular too. But no, I think the biggest issue with 3D printing is people looking for resources constantly, but everyone has a different opinion and everyone's like half wrong. Like it went around for a really long time, I think it still does, that you should print your minis 45 degrees back for the best detail. I mean, you're technically right on like a fucking subatomic level. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, if you put them side by side, you will not be able to tell. If you take a picture of them, yeah, because it's so much bigger. I don't think people understand, like when you look at a picture on your screen of a mini, think about how much bigger that is than the mini. But if you actually have the mini in your hand, you can't tell. You know what I mean? It doesn't affect painting either. What does affect is like suction force and peel force. That's another thing. My point is, just try it. I know resin isn't super cheap, but like just try printing a bunch of little things, print like the same object 4 different times with 4 different types of supports that you created and see what works best. That's my biggest recommendation, honestly. That's like how I learned ZBrush. That's how I learned 3D printing. I just did it and figured it out. And then it clicked the best with me too. Because I'm just telling you, everyone thinks they know, everyone thinks they're right, and they're not, including me. Like, honestly. I need to smooth out some of these little pieces in here because I know those will be defects otherwise. Alright, 20,000 points is pretty good. Usually I'd make this into a brush and just draw them on, but I think for this one I need to place them individually. Alright, let's see how I want to do this. Oh, Sarah's here. What are we working on today? We are working on a pangolin, and it looks really weird right now. Where is my reference? This is, oh wow. This is what it's going to look like, roughly. We'll see. I just got like a scale done. Oh, what is this black bar? That's new. ZBrush always keeps me on my toes, that's for sure. What is this? Please go away. I'll just do preferences, try and restore my config, see if it goes away. It didn't go away. I'm going to save and then reopen. I don't know what this line is, but it's gonna drive me nuts. Why are you being like this? It's still there. What if I can just work around it and just not care? Ah. Okay, no, it's causing lots of problems. Alright, we're gonna reopen this file, and I really hope I didn't save this dumb line into it. Please go away. It's still there! Oh boy. What is this line? Alright, let's see if it's something UI related. Restore custom or standard. No, it's on the standard as well. Wow, I'm like baffled right now. This is just a totally new problem I've never had before. Generally speaking, like the more you use ZBrush, the more like far and few in between these weird problems are. Alright, that line's still there. Okay, I just need to close and reopen ZBrush entirely. I hope. I don't know what it's doing. Anyway, Sarah says pangolins are adorable. They always look like they're apologizing for something, right? Whenever that in the beginning of the stream, I pulled up some pictures because some people didn't know the difference between a pangolin and an anteater, which is normal. They're weird. All right, the line is gone for now. Hopefully I can open that file and it doesn't like recreate it. Let's see, where did I put it? And then design says, if working on characters, is it better to start from scratch, sphere, or ready base mesh? Base mesh, 100%. I mean, if you're trying to like learn the basics in like anatomy and stuff, I mean, yeah, sure, you can do like from scratch. It's really inefficient and slow. But just do it from base mesh. It'll save you a ton of time. If you're one of those purists that are like, oh, I won't take a base mesh and work on it because it's cheating, fine, make your own base mesh. Not saying you're like that. A lot of people get really snotty about it, and I'm like, okay. All right. Whoop. Looks like a little hat. You know, I probably should go from like the butt to the head because that's the direction it's overlapping. Like this, I'll have to keep tucking it under. So maybe I'll try that. Hey, Indy Respawns here. Hello. It feels really weird because I know that I'm gonna have these like side panels essentially. Here we go. Like this covering it, but having all of it exposed right now, it just looks really weird. This is actually a little trickier than I thought it was gonna be. Right now I'm just kind of throwing them on here quickly and hoping that I can kind of get a better idea of how I think this is going to look. Worst case scenario, I just try something else. So I'm kind of increasing it by like 5 to 15% as I work up. All right, we're getting close to like the shoulder blade right here, and this is where I want to be really, really dramatic. Sarah mentions wouldn't the armor really flatter than this? Maybe, just let me try this out and let me see what I want to do with this. Because I'm not making a pangolin, I'm making a dire pangolin, so I want to look really monstrous as opposed to just a literal pangolin. I don't know if I showed it before, but the concept art, obviously not a standard pangolin. It does lay a lot flatter, but again, I just want to play with this. I do like how clean that looks. I think it's interesting. And then Sarah's have to say it looks a bit stego right now. Right? I think it looks cool. I think you said it as like it's a bad thing, like have to say. Again, I think it looks cool. I'm gonna do what I want. If I was making just a standard pangolin, sure. But again, I'm really not striving for accurate with this. Otherwise, I think it'd be really boring, honestly. And plus, it's not what the guy asked for anyway. Because this is actually a model request. could use this piece to make so many other like cool little creatures. It's kind of interesting too. It's almost like what I could use for like an armadillo. You know, I never figured out what the green one does. Not the green one, but like the difference between all these. It says right here like angle, radius, but what does this white one do? Seems like that made it go more straight up. Oh, okay, I see. That's interesting. I like how rock-like this looks too. It's gonna paint really well. Do you think it'd be interesting if there's almost like two of these? That was definitely a mistake that happened because I lost symmetry at some point. But it does look cool. Yeah, right here. Probably add like cracks to these top ones right here, like they taken damage or something like that. I think that looked interesting. I wonder if this will polygroup it correctly too, because then I can like manipulate these a little more cleanly. Perfect. So I think I want these ones right here to be a little thinner. Almost like porcupine-like. That looks pretty cool. Oh, I haven't looked at the chat in a while. Sorry, guys. And then Maniac says, are Thingiverse tips a thing? Like, do I get any? Sometimes. I probably make like $1 a month. Sarah says, no, stickers are cool. I got one in ARC. Ooh, yeah, they released that for free recently on the Epic Games Store, I think. I used to play a ton of ARC, but I didn't play online because, I don't know. Just don't want anyone touching my stuff. But I had a lot of fun with that. Celia's here. Hello, hello. And then Jack, like, early, it's 23:47. Like, who's that? Gotcha. Okay, so almost midnight. But yeah, I usually stream at 6. I've been streaming earlier, later, just generally sometime Thursday, Friday. I was supposed to move tomorrow, but my move date got pushed back to Monday because they're redoing the carpet, which sounds good, and it is, but I'm still really pissed about it because, like, we've had this date set for like 2 weeks, and the guys moved out for a week, and they just checked it, and they're like, oh yeah, we have to redo the carpets. I'm like, but I moved PG&E and Edison, and that's the same thing. But everything has been switched off to turn off here, so it was kind of a mess to try and make it so, like, I had electricity for the next 3 days. Whatever. It's really not that big of a deal. Hey, Mihira's here. Hello. Mihira said, this is why I said last time that man plans God laughs. Yeah, but, like, it hasn't affected my streaming, though. Which is what that was talking about specifically. But yeah. I'm happy with this. I like the way that it's actually starting to lay too. I like doing that with the pinch brush more than manually doing it because then they kind of bend around each other too. The only downside to this is I forgot to keep one of these like original pieces. I definitely should have done that. Why is symmetry keep breaking? Oh my goodness. I know it's breaking because, again, this would be completely symmetrical. I know whenever you use a 3D transform or any sort of manipulation like that, it turns it off, but still. Stop doing that. Okay, I didn't change it too much. Good. This transition is not great, obviously. So I'll need to work on that. I can do that later, though. Just splitting this into 3 sections because when I pose this, that's kind of like the 3 spots where this will bend. Just make it a little bit easier. I'm also curious if I can duplicate this and flip it and put it on the bottom. I highly, highly doubt it. I'm going to try anyway. I don't know why it ended up over there. There we go. So I plan for these pieces to be a lot larger, actually. But I'm also trying to be, like, efficient, and by efficient I mean lazy, about this. We'll see. Thank you, Gregory. I think you're new here too. Welcome. Normally I don't make monster pangolins. Usually I make more D&D fantasy related stuff. But I guess it's this fantasy. I think it looked cool having the 2 layers right there, but to be more like normal with this, I think it's just supposed to be one big panel. So let's try that. I see Jeff's back. Oh, he's a spiky boy now. Very spiky. Just making the tail a little bit bigger. It's a bit small. Making about 5% bigger. That's better. Let's see. Jeff said, you said this is a dire pangolin, right? It looks awesome, but mad. They may be packaged with being a spiky boy, though. Definitely. I've always thought of dire things just being, like, vicious. I've really only ever seen, like, dire wolves used. I've seen dire bears, too, but they never look very happy. And they're always spiky. Even the wolves. That looks better. I must have clicked on the wrong thing. Because all the scales are gone. That's okay. That's why I quick save. I have a lot of stuff in my quick save folder. And you go through that. Alright. Right here. And then I'll be back. Oh, I missed some chat. Yeah, aloe veras are really cool. And yeah, flail snails I've never actually like used in the game, but they're pretty cool too. Alright, Jeff says, I'm researching core versus standard ZBrush right now. There's a lot of features that I'd really like to use. Mostly I'd like to be able to separate things. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I wouldn't recommend getting the full version of ZBrush if you already have core. You have mini core, though. I think it's so annoying because they did ZBrush core, and ZBrush core mini, so it's like super confusing. But yeah, you're right. You have mini, not core. And yeah, it'd be a huge upgrade. It'd be great. But I'm gonna say core. You should look at a ZBrush core. It's $180. You pay it once, you have it forever, and it's like amazing. And you can do a ton of stuff. decimate this. And the Indy asked if they could share a 3D print the Flail Sally did. You can, but you can't put links in the chat because you're not a moderator. YouTube live stream chats limit any links, unfortunately. But if you put like just spaces in between the link and people know to remove the spaces, it should work. This dire pangolin has been a lot more work than I thought. This is really fun. Just waiting for this to pre-process, so it's not 2.2 million points. I mean, it wasn't that many. It was already decimated, and sometimes when you decimate things, it's already been decimated. It gets really, really pixelated, so I wanted to Dynamesh so it's all merged together, and then decimate. There we go. Mihir said, just keep in mind that Core Mini is not for commercial use. Yeah, I don't think anyone I have is doing that. I mean, it'd be really hard to anyway. Doing the same thing where I'm Dynameshing this together before I decimate, just so they're all actually the same piece. Having to really think about this. Just waiting for this to stop saying computing, and then I can pick how many polygons I want this to be. There we go. That wasn't that bad, just a minute. Okay, cool. So you linked it, added to space.com, it showed up. I can see it. Sweet. So I'm going to copy and paste that into my URL and remove the space. Oh yeah, that's awesome. That is such a cool flail snail. I love it. Rock on. Oh, I probably should have done this screen so everyone could see it, but oh well. Of course. Jeff says it doesn't show the link for me. Really? There's no link? I don't think YouTube live chat's smart enough to censor that. Did you remove the space between the Imgur and the .com? There we go. I have everything back around 1,000,000 points. I mean, ZBrush can handle it, no problem. I just don't like for it to get super out of hand. I have this many little pieces and scales. Sometimes it gets to be a bit much. All right, and then Silly says, yeah, it does that. Oh, that sucks. And then Jess has, it happens if you're in Discord, you can share it there. There is a Discord, but it's only for patrons. I mean, if you're a $1 a month patron, you would have access, I think. No, it's $5.50 and up. Sorry. It's a Patreon thing only. Keeps the trolls out when there's a paywall in front of it. Jeff says, ah, that explains how you keep the Discord so clean. Yeah. Jeff says, do you guys know that the ZBrush Core license can be unregistered from computers and moved about? Yes, it can. By the way, nice anteater. It's a pangolin. It's not an anteater. They're different animals. Jeff says, well, it's like a monster pangolin, so whatever. Jeff says, actually have three computers I bounce between, 2 desktops, and I stay at home, and a laptop on my way for work. Haven't found any on activation limits. You can have 2 seats, and then you can move those around pretty much as you want, but eventually, like, they don't like when you do. But you can always have a copy of ZBrush or ZBrush Core active on 2 computers. Or at least I know you can for ZBrush for sure. I used to have ZBrush Core, and I remember having it on 2 computers. So, yes. Yes. Good questions, though. And Jeff also mentioned about like keeping like a ZBrush clean, or not ZBrush, Discord clean. Yeah, it's only happened like twice, but I pretty much like vet people. Like when people start chatting and they're new, I really keep a close eye on them. And if I just don't like their tone, I just disappear them. I've only done it twice, but yeah, anyone that can't figure out how to say things nicely, I just get rid of. Let's see. Jeff, you're gonna have that anteater fight constantly. I'm like, I know. It's because no one knows what a pangolin is. I'm like, y'all need to go to the zoo more. Celio, are you really gonna fight me about pangolins and anteaters? I don't want to banish you, but don't be this petty, please. And they're pretty different. One of them's covered in scales and one of them's not. Anteaters like fuzzy babies. Oh my gosh, anteater hair is so long. I'm always surprised by that in the zoo. And the Indy says that's totally understandable. Yep. And if you ever see an anteater that looks like this, you let me know. This looks like a stegosaurus at the same time. Sarah mentioned that, and I agree. So I guess that's the best way to explain the difference. I'd be like, it's like an anteater, but a stegosaurus. I don't know if I want the little bumps by his eye. Yeah, I actually don't mind that. I'm just used to having like some sort of like defining eyebrow bone, and these don't have much of a skull. Alright, I definitely need to define this eye a little bit better. I kind of just put an eyeball in there and called it good. Ah, come on, standard brush. There we go. I'm making him look like he has like a dragon eye because I just made like a bunch of dragons and stuff. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but I don't know if he's supposed to be that tough. There we go. Let's mellow him out a little bit. I think it was Jeff that mentioned that too, though. I'm like, he looks angry. There we go. Now he looks kind of tired. I get it. Let's see. Sega says, I said anteater because it lacked the armor. I don't know if you haven't seen the whole thing, but he's armor. He's a thick boy. Got lots of spikies. It looks like a hairless dire anteater. Well, it is a dire pangolin. Let's see. Jeff said, are anteaters still called anteater when they're dire? I imagine they'd move their dye up the chain too. He's just vibing now. Hairless and with some rock bullshit. Ooh. Yeah. I'm deciding what I'm gonna do with you. You're just being so like combative over an anteater. If you drop it, I'll drop it. But yeah, Jeff said it well. Like he's just vibing now. If it helps, this is the art I'm going off of, which I think this looks more pangolin-y because it has these bigger pieces. I might redo them bigger. I don't know. I do like what I have going on. That was a little too harsh. There we go. It's a bit better. Their little mouths crack me up. I mean, they gotta have their nose and their face. I imagine this is like where the nasal passage would be. So I can like add some sort of definition to their head here. Okay, I think I like that, but just not as intense. Let's bring the intensity down, put the focal shift up, and I can get some softer lines in here. There we go. Yeah, I think I like that pointed. It's a small detail, but I think I like that better. I'm trying to think of where I want to add more rocks. I think I want to add them like on his knees and stuff. That's probably where the concept art has it too. Actually, no, they have it on the back. Yeah, no, I'll probably move it forward. And then same with his belly. I don't think I'm going to put any rocks on there either. Just make him a little pudgy. Let's see. Sarah said we have the exact same idea. And then Sarah says, I think a dire anteater eat dire ants. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Dire ants sounds scary, actually. Jeff said, obviously, face smackingly obvious they'd eat dire ants. I have to Google what pangolin eats as well, I suppose. I can't remember. I think it's pangolins. I think they eat rocks too to help digest. I remember there was some animal that eats rocks to help like digest and crunch up their food, and I just thought it was like the craziest thing. the guy who requested this is a really good painter, so I'm really trying to think of like all like different textures I can put into this, because I know he's gonna paint this. I'm surprised how much the feet have grown on me. I actually like them. This looks pretty cool. It's a weird one for sure, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's still like familiar. It's not like a totally random creature design or anything. When I was working on the Exodal, it kind of felt like I was just making it up. They look so funny. And then Sarah said that's birds, I think, about the rock thing. Yeah. Jeff said some of these pictures on Google makes them look like they're really cute, but the other ones make them look like Lovecraftian horrors. Pangolins are weird, man, right? Here, I'm gonna look it up, the pangolin rock thing, because I swear, I remember reading that. It was so weird. Yep, pangolins use rocks in lieu of teeth. Since they don't have any teeth, the fact that they eat so many rocks, not intentionally, they just pick them up when they eat rams, it ends up grinding them up. That's really interesting. So they eat ants and termites. And then the large scales that are on them are keratin, which makes sense. Maybe that or cartilage. And would make sense if it was cartilage. God, they are funny things. They eat up to 70 million ants and termites a year. That's crazy. Let's see. Maniac says, do you feel like the Patreon miniature scene is crowded? Nope. I don't think, I'll never think there's enough artists and creators making cool, unique minis and stuff, personally. So yeah. I think people are really picky when it comes to art, which is great. So I think there's a lot of room for a lot more artists and creators in the scene, because everyone likes what they like. And just the more people there are, the more different tastes and different art kinds of arts that can be supported, which is really cool. There's a couple of Patreon styles that, like, not popular ones, they're smaller, but like either I don't like them, like I don't like that style at all, but they still have like a good enthusiastic following, and that always makes me happy. It kind of reminds me of, like, growing up, like I watched a lot of Pokemon, and like I just think it's cool because you can find someone out there who's like, even like the dumbest Pokemon, that's their favorite, which cracks me up. I just assumed everyone liked Vulpix because it's cute and adorable, and that's the best one, obviously. But yeah, that kind of thing. But if you have to know, my actual favorite is Absol. This isn't important, but now you know. I think I'm getting a lot better with like creature design and like muscle definition and that kind of stuff. Makes me happy to see. An artist that I really like who is super good at dinosaurs. I remember watching her, I think it was a recorded live stream that I watched after the fact, and she was like masking out these little dots like this, and I remember it looking so satisfying, and I was like, oh, I could never do that, you know, because it just something about this is like, I don't know. I feel like it looks really easy, but I've been bad at stuff like this before in the past, and I'm like, hey, I'm doing it. It won't inflate this just a little bit. It's like doing it a ton. I'm like, fine, I guess I will do this by hand. It'll take me a whole 2 seconds, but I'll complain about it. It's because this base mesh has over 3 million points. So, ZBrush will lag a tiny bit when I'm trying to inflate this, and it's enough to get that little glitchy looking effect. They want more of a separation between the neck and the arm. So we get rid of some of these little rock clusters. It's looking pretty cool though. I always love doing different animals like this because it just has me thinking kind of like a different way. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Jeff says, I'm still confused when my friends loves Porygon. I just don't get it. More power to him. See what I mean? Like, there's someone, I don't get it either. Porygon sucks. So it says, I've never played Pokemon. Just wanted to say that to sow chaos. Jeff says, okay, I'm heading out. Hour drive, want to be there before bedtime. Thanks for streaming. Can't wait to see the final product. Thank you, Jeff. You were very, very fun to chat with. Honestly, I'm probably gonna wrap up this live stream pretty soon here. This creature's pretty much done, but I'm gonna want to sleep on some parts of the design. The pose will be pretty easy to do. Just make a really casual walking pose, so not even too different from what it looks like right now. It's got like a really dramatic render. If it is like this underlit, it should look super scary. Or dramatic at least. Yeah, so dramatic. I'm going to leave it looking like that because I think it looks cool. Andy says, I'm really interested in the support to this bad boy. It looks like a challenge. No. Definitely not. From everything up here, that's all support lists. It's right here. So there'll just be support on each one of these. Probably take me maybe a minute to 2 minutes to put all the supports on. There'd be one here, one here, and 2 on his neck. And that's it. Let's see. Sarah says, sleeping on something, the human equivalent of turning it off and on, off and back on again. Oh, that's so true. Let's see. Kyle Martin. Hello. I think you're also new here. Hi all, high school teacher here, newbie to resin printing. Done a lot of plastic filament for 3D. I'll be integrating into my class next year. Any suggestions on free/easy to use design software? Very, very cool. Yeah, if you can use an FDM printer, you can use a resin printer. Yeah, I would recommend using Sculptress or people say Blender, but it's not easy to use. They just released a free version of ZBrush called ZBrush Core Mini, and it's fantastic. It's super easy to use. I'd recommend that. And he says, oh, nice. Maybe I was overthinking it. I tend to oversupport my models. No, it's okay. And I get you. Like, usually when you see lots of ridges like this, it's just like, oh, no. You know what I mean? But then it's like, you just got to think about which way they're pointing. But, yeah. Sarah mentioning at Blender. I would recommend Blender because your students would spend half the year just trying to figure out the UI. And I actually don't even know. Well, you said high school. Yeah, no. Still. I mean, maybe you have better students, but I just remember the people I went to high school with were idiots. They were nice people, some of them. But, like, we would do, like, basic word processing programs, just, like, opening up Word, and, like, the majority of the class could not figure out PowerPoint, and it was really annoying. So I'd recommend not using Blender because it's actually hard for anyone that's not familiar with 3D. So yes. Indy says, I second ZBrush Core Mini. Yeah, they just released it like last week. Mahir says Blender UI is really good now. Yeah, but it's not beginner friendly. If you're like, again, high school is what, 13 to 18-year-olds and you've like never touched, or I assume high school in the United States. Anyway, no, I don't recommend it. Do not. If you have students that take off with it and get really excited about it, go for it. And you can recommend Blender as the next free upgrade. But I'm not sure if it's specifically an art class you're doing this for, but I would not recommend Blender. Not for beginners, anyway. Just looking through some emails. Mahir says neither ZBrush. I didn't recommend ZBrush. I recommend ZBrush Core Mini, which is like the most basic of basic ever. You have like 8 brushes and a sphere. And go nuts. I don't think you downloaded ZBrush Core Mini or tried it. Yeah, I don't know if you are still here, Kyle, but if you are, let me actually pull up ZBrush Core Mini. Totally free, and it's extremely easy. I have Blender on here too, but you can just Google pictures of Blender in the UI and you'll figure it out really quick. But yeah, this is ZBrush Core Mini. There's actually an update I haven't done yet. But this is it. Here are your brushes, so you can just get sculpting. Symmetry is turned on. You can use Alt to subtract stuff. And then smooth. And that's it. So you can just like start creating things. Just like right from the get-go. I am making like a jack-o'-lantern here, or like a Jack Skellington sort of deal. Change the materials here. There, he's beautiful. But yeah, that's it. Draw size, see intensity. That's the whole program. Again, it's limiting, but it's really, really, really cool, and it's just so much fun to like have people that have never sculpted before immediately start having fun. Yeah, I think I'm actually set with this. I'm really happy the way this turned out. Again, I think I'm getting a lot better with just like general forms and muscle structure and stuff. This muscle right here is really goofy, but the rest of it looks pretty good. Kyle says, thank you so much. They have experience with just Autodesk Inventor, sophomore juniors. We're in Hawaii, design tech class. Very, very cool. That's awesome. I haven't used Autodesk Inventor. I used SolidWorks because I went to school for engineering. I said, OMG, yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Perfect, perfect. I'm really glad that's helpful. And yeah, so that's like a remastered version of Sculptress, sorry. And it's made by the same people. So ZBrush, the head company, it's called Pixelogic. And so they made Sculptress a long time ago, and it's pretty outdated at this point. And so they made an even more simple, polished version, ZBrush Core Mini. So yeah. Yeah, good luck with their class, though. That's awesome. Yeah, Sarah said the same thing. That'll be fun, too. Maniac says, are hairbrushes good for minis? It depends on the hairbrush. I mean, I use one from Danny Mac that was like $2, and it's really nice. But I don't know. If you use like a fiber mesh brush, like I don't know if that's even a thing. I've never used fiber mesh, but like absolutely not. But yeah, it can be. Just make sure you don't have too many little thin elements and thin little strands, and you're fine. I think I'm gonna finally call this good. You guys had a lot of really good questions today. That was super fun. But yeah, I'll possibly live stream tomorrow, if not next Thursday, just because moving and stuff. We'll see. I mentioned that earlier. We'll see. I'll be around. That's all you need to know. Anyway, I hope you guys have a super good day, and I will see you tomorrow or next week. Bye, guys.